Okay, this is third video relating to the presentation assessment rubric, University English 3B. We're going to next look at section 5, general content. So start, presentation follows problem solution, consequence pattern of the report. So yeah, it's following the pattern, not exactly word for word, hopefully, but following the pattern. The length, this is very important. That's why it's important to practice together. Maximum 10 minutes. If it's longer, I will stop you. Okay, that doesn't just mean that you will score a 0 here. It means that you will probably score a 0 for these three. And you will definitely score a 0. Well, no, not definitely, because I will stop you and invite questions, but the chances are you are much more likely to score a 0 here if you don't finish. Okay, so very important. Keep your presentation under 10 minutes. I would say between 8 and 10 minutes would be about right. Okay. If you aim for 8 minutes, should be good. They're always longer than, tend to be longer than shorter. You think it's going to be short, but usually it's not. Okay, logical order of parts. So pretty clear, isn't it? Problem, solution, consequence. Within the problem, cause and then effects of the problem rather than effects and cause, maybe. Within the solutions, maybe the most interesting solution or viable, possible, likely solution first, and then smaller ideas after. Just logical order, flow of information. Important terms are clearly defined, so not everybody will understand the technicalities of what you're saying. So make sure that anything that might be difficult to understand is explained clearly. Also, my background is not from a technical engineering or chemical or environmental background. So anything that you think maybe needs defining, define it. Don't use Japanese. Don't say da, 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 in Japanese. You have to paraphrase it. In English, diagrams are good. You can use the whiteboard, okay, as well, but practice that, have it as part of your presentation. Is connected to relevant area of study. Most of the titles did this, one or two didn't. So if it's not, you will score low here. It's generally interesting and balanced. That's very subjective on my part. Balanced in terms of distribution of information, problem, solution, consequences, balanced in terms of ideas and viewpoints that other solutions may be considered but dismissed, generally keeps people interested. That's often reflected in the amount of questions. Remember, people will not be interested if your vocabulary is too high. They won't understand it, and they won't listen, and then they won't ask questions, and then you'll score 0 for that section. Okay, so keep your vocabulary lower than your report. It's another reason not to memorize and read your report, because your vocabulary is likely to be too high for people to understand. Okay, must reflect the content of the report. I don't want it to be exactly the same word for word, but the ideas presented should be match the ideas presented in the report. And similar to the slides, your slides would have been submitted. Slides can change after you submit them. If you want to add a slide or change a slide, but the slides you submit have to be the ones I assess originally. Okay, but you can change them. Whatever these slides are, the slides that you use on your, whichever slides you use on your presentation will get this mark. Stays on topic, so don't go on to other areas. Keep focused on your topic of your presentation. Shouldn't be a problem. Okay. So moving in, last part of the rubric, questions and answers. As I say, if you fail to generate interest, you may be here. I used to ask questions myself. Maybe I will, but I'm not going to force to see how you respond. There is an awful lot of points here. 8, 10, 16 points there that if nobody asks you questions, you will get a 0 because that reflects on you. You haven't made it interesting enough or clear enough to generate questions. Assuming you do, though, and assuming you get to the end without going over time, clearly invite. Thank you very much for listening. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, when you receive a question, check. I mean, just because you have answered it, it doesn't mean you have heard it and understood it. It doesn't mean everybody else has. You might get a question from the front of the class, the people at the back of the class, maybe they haven't heard it. Maybe some people don't understand the question. If it comes from somebody with quite good language, you can paraphrase it. You can repeat the question. Check you have understood it as well. Even if you have, even if it's a simple question, repeat it anyway for the people at the back of the class. Okay, you get 2 points for that. Sometimes, often actually, you get one presenter answering all the questions. Right? Share the questions. Ask your partner if they want to answer it. Can you take this one? Okay, if you do that, you will get 4 if you both answer questions. If one of you answers everything, you might do a really good job, but here you're only going to get 2. If you take all the questions and leave your partner stood there doing nothing. Okay, another thing that I often see is when a question is asked, suddenly you go into whispering with your partner. I don't understand. What did he say? Okay, don't do that. If you're going to talk to each other. Once you clarify the question, you should both understand it and then just agree who's going to answer it. You can always add more to that answer after if you think your partner hasn't answered it in its entirety, then you can add more information yourself. Question which can't be answered. You can't always answer questions. You need to manage those. So refer them. First, you need to explain why. So sorry, I can't answer that question because that wasn't the area of our inquiry. That's not what we were looking at because explain why. Maybe refer to a source. You could probably find the answer on this website that we used for other reasons, but you could probably find something there. Maybe you could find that information on the government website refer them to somewhere else. You could also speculate. I don't know, but I imagine that I didn't read that, but I think that, okay, that's perfectly acceptable. Do a combination of both. I think that you could probably check that on this website. Is that okay? Have I answered your question? I'm sorry that wasn't probably the answer you wanted, but is that okay? That's the best I can do. Somehow check that your answers are satisfactory to the person answering. Okay, a lot of points there in the question and answer part. Okay, then so maximum there is a 126. Nobody has ever scored a 126, so good luck. The score will be generated by this simple formula. Your score divided by 126 times 30 gives me the score out of 30. That will be added to your report score, your slide score, and later your test score and your participation score, which will all add up to your final grade. Okay, so use this to help you practice your presentation. Sit down with your partner, go through the list, check you are doing all these things, that you understand them. Remember, key, practice together. Don't read. Don't memorize every word of your report. Keyword notes, which we will look at in class or on the video. And this isn't about your level of English, that where it's not in the rubric, is it? It's not in there. So think about what you want to say it in your best English. If you don't think it's clear, say it again, a different way, and you will score high. If you memorize or read, you will score very low. Okay, I hope that's clear. Please refer to this document, watch the videos again. If you're not sure of anything, email me, ask me any questions about these videos. Otherwise, good luck in your presentations. Thank you very much.